Oh, hello, peace and blessings, everybody. I feel like my eyes are going to be a little bit shifty because I'm still getting used to. I'm still getting used to like recording on my phone and like I'm looking at myself, but then like the camera is where I'm looking right now, and then I'm looking at myself. So forgive me if it's distracting for you, but hopefully you can just follow along. I'm just making this video because to serve. My intention is for this to be like an outlet for me and maybe some inspiration for someone else. And just because I told myself that I really wanted to start blogging, vlogging my journey. Like I've, it's so many things I can share with the world. It's so many things that I can share with people, for people, that I just haven't, because I'm very private and I feel like that's a guise for me just being afraid of putting my life out there, sharing things publicly. You know why, right? Like we live in a world of cancel culture. We live in a world of internet trolls and just like people who for a living online just troll videos and say mean things in the comments. But this is a challenge to myself to just say fuck those people, and just put it out there anyway, and then allow for my content to serve whoever it's meant to serve, and be able to move past, the negativity, because I know my intention is pure. And so with that, I'm going to be doing more videos about living in Mexico. So I've been living in Playa del Carmen, Mexico for almost 2 years now. It'll be 2 years in September. It's currently August 2nd, 2022. I first got here in September of 2020. And I created a video sharing about my move to Mexico. I haven't posted it. Like I said, I'm really just getting in a flow of even just creating these videos. And my intention is to follow through with posting them. But I am going to probably do several videos about my move to Mexico, living in Mexico, all the things. But this video is to specifically talk about just like where I am in this moment in time, like 2 years in. And because for me, I've heavily been deciding, or thinking about moving, moving from Playa del Carmen, moving either to another part of Mexico, another part of Central or South America, or moving back to the States. Like I really have been thinking about that too. And I'll share more about the details, and like maybe I'll do a pros and cons video or something of that sort. But I will just speak to what's coming up for me in this moment, and it's really just around some of the challenges and hardships that come with living in another country. Like you don't really know what foreigners experience in America, until you've put yourself in a similar situation. Like having to navigate a place where there's language barriers and cultural differences, and just the rules of the land, and the rules of where you are, and navigating that, and just navigating yourself through all of that. Like it comes with its own set of challenges. And for me, why I've been considering moving, because one, Playa del Carmen is a beautiful place, beautiful beach town, but it can be small. It can feel small, especially for someone like me coming from the city. I moved here from Brooklyn, New York. I was born and raised in Baltimore, Maryland. I've lived in D.C. or on the outskirts of D.C. And so I've always lived like in or immediately near a major city. And this kind of has a town vibe, not quite a city vibe, but it's a town. And it's easily accessible, which is one of the reasons why I really liked it here. And I, decided to move here. But also, I hope you can still hear me with this mic thing. But also, what am I saying? It can feel small, just because it's like the same places, the same kind of area, the same people. And when I say same people, I definitely mean the expat community, and especially the black expat community. So one thing I've been wanting to do is challenge myself to create relationships outside of the black expat community, because that's what I have really clung to, because it felt like home, it felt like comfort and safety. But now I'm just starting to feel a little bit like claustrophobic here. And I hope y'all don't pay too much. I probably just pointed it out, but like my little pinky nails are broken off because when I experience anxiety, I sometimes like bite on my nails. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. But yeah, and so it can feel small. It can just feel like, I'm seeing the same places, like even restaurants. Like I am vegan-ish, meaning for me, I don't do any dairy, but I will still have eggs, honey, and I don't eat meat. So, my options, I don't want to say they're limited because there's a good amount of vegan restaurants here, but there's not many. There's not like a plethora of restaurants. There's like a few good spots that I pretty much go to, that I know is tried and true. But the food here is really inconsistent. And maybe I'll dive into that. Like, I'll make a list of like pros and cons. I've kind of done that for myself because, like I said, y'all, your girl was ready to go. But I'm about to move on Friday, and I'm just like, okay, if I just give myself maybe another 6 months here, maybe 7 months, maybe 8, and just by the spring, see how I feel about moving. I do feel like I just need a change of environment, a change of scenery, just a change of pace. I'm thinking I want a more upbeat place because another thing about here, so it's a beach town and it's always hot, which is like great. We love hot weather. Again, but this is my first experience living somewhere where it's hot all year round, which at first I loved. I was like, yes, I'm thriving. The sun 24/7, like, like all year round, no winter, no fall. But now I'm feeling like, I kind of miss the mix up. I kind of miss like fall fashion and just being able to put some jeans on, or just, having a different season to experience, because like life is still happening in seasons. You know what I'm saying? Like my life is still very much in a cyclical process and happening in a cyclical fashion. But it's like always sunny outside. And, for me, I struggle with depression. And I don't talk about this a lot. And I think I've put a lot of pressure on myself to like always have it together, or just to not share this part of myself, because I am a coach. I'm a spiritual life coach, because I'm a wellness practitioner, because, I'm very a scholar, if you will. Like I study and learn a lot in the mental health space, and so there's a lot of things that I know in terms of managing mental health, but that doesn't mean that I don't still experience bouts of depression, or signs of anxiety. And I've had to remind myself, and one of my therapists reminded me as well, that like, when you're on this healing path, when you're healing through, working through, or managing any kind of mental health, emotional, spiritual work, that it's a work in progress. There is no like I've arrived kind of place. There's levels, there's evolution, there's growth, there's transformation. But just imagine, the magnitude of some of the things that we carry, and how this stuff has been with us for a very long time, even before our lifetime, right? That we carry, that we're holding on to, that's in our DNA, that we've been dealing with, or, that have been brought up in our childhood, childhood trauma and things, at 30 years old, like, it's not just gonna go away overnight. Now, I've been through years of therapy. I've worked with different coaches. I've done plant medicine. I microdose to manage, my mental and emotional and just overall well-being. But I still have my moments. And I think that that's a testament to say that there is no magic pill that'll just turn it off. There's ways to make it easier to manage it, to navigate through life, to navigate through the seasons, to navigate through whatever is coming up for you so you can process and deal with it and heal in a healthy way, you know. But, as is life, like things are going to come up. That's the nuance and the flavor of life. You're going to have sun just like you're going to have rain, And so with that, I never thought I'd say that I'd be missing like the fall. I'd be missing, not so much winter, but just like, a cooler breeze, like, oh, putting on my jacket. And so it's just, when you experience different pieces of life and I guess just different places, it makes you appreciate things that you took for granted before. At least for me, let me speak for myself, because I never thought that I would miss the fall, or that I would miss winter. And I don't really miss winter, but you get what I'm saying, like a cooler season. And so, I'm at a place in my journey right now where I feel like so much of my life has changed. Like so much of my life has changed. I'm not even the same woman anymore. I'm not the same person anymore. If you guys can maybe recall, if you're new to my channel, or if you're watching this and you've seen me before, I had long locks earlier this year. I chopped them all off. The girl chopped all her locks off, and that was just an external reflection of what I had been working through internally. That was just an external kind of like monumental moment of all the inner transformational work that I had been doing, and to say that like I'm not the same, and this hair is a representative of the old version of myself. And there's still some pieces and parts of that version of me that's still here, but there's a lot that has changed and transformed. And so I find myself being kind of at this like crossroad, or just like at such a strange place in my life, because I feel like so much of my life has changed. I'm no longer who I used to be, but I know I'm still on a journey of unfolding and becoming and evolving into, the next version of who I am. And so where I am right now is my truth, for sure, and it's where I'm supposed to be. But it sometimes feels so foreign and strange because I've had to let go of a lot of expectation, even expectation I've had on myself. And that may sound weird for some people because it sounds weird coming out of my mouth. But like I've had to let go of the expectation of how I thought life would be and how things would unfold, and when this would be that, and when I would do this, and when I would experience that, and having this and having that. I never was the kind of person that like set age limits on things. Like, oh, by 30, I'm gonna have this, and by 40, I'm gonna be married with a kid. Like, it was never that for me, but I did have a very specific kind of picture of where and how I wanted my life to be. And what's coming to me right now is a quote that I saw about like being specific in the vision, but flexible with how you get there, right? And for me, I was very rigid and specific in how I was going to get there, right? Like the vision and how I was going to get there, versus holding the vision and being flexible with how I'm going to get there. And so this experience living in Mexico has definitely taught me how to soften back, how to embrace my feminine energy, divine feminine energy, in a way that's more receptive and surrender and trusting. But it still feels scary, y'all. It feels scary because it's foreign, it's unknown. Living in a way that's not like all planned out. Like, okay, I have this, I'm gonna have this, then I'm gonna go there, and I'm gonna do this, and it's gonna be that. I'm just like, one moment I'm like, okay, I'm here in Mexico. The next one I'm like, where the fuck am I about to live? You know, like, and that's a big question to have over your head. Like, where am I going to live? And there's been so much of my shadow work that has come up from living here and transforming here. And there's also been a lot of root chakra energy being triggered lately, like home, family, foundation, roots. And it has really been about getting back to my roots, right? And connecting with my ancestors on a deeper level, trusting them, inviting them to support me in this journey, giving them the permission. But also, I want to say, like, building a home within myself, that even if I don't, if even when I feel blurry about where my home base is, because that's what was coming up for me a lot. Like, I don't know if Playa del Carmen is my home base. You know, it's one thing to like live in the States and then travel to these places and then go back home. It's another thing to like live place by place and have to pick up all your things and go each time with, you know, to the next place, to the next destination. And that felt overwhelming to me. You know, the Taurus rising part of me, that Taurus energy in my chart, which is about earth energy, which is about, you know, practicality and groundingness. And that part of me is like, bitch, what? Like, we need a plan. Like, we not about to be just out here hopping country to country. And I have a doggy now. I have a puppy now, and I got him because I was feeling really alone. That's another thing I think that I don't see many people talk about. But again, I'm not out here watching 50,000 videos on vloggers and travelers and expats, so I don't know. But I know from the videos I have seen, there's not many people talking about like some of the self kind of challenges that you go through living in another country. And loneliness was definitely one of them for me, and it still is. It still is. It's something I still battle with. Like, you know, how much, how much happier would I be if I was traveling with a partner, like with a life partner? You know, because sometimes I don't feel happy, you know, and then I've guilt myself for not feeling happy. Like, what? You live on the beach, you live in this beautiful place, you have all this access to these wonderful things, you know. But I struggled with depression for a long time while being here. When I first got here last year, I want to say like 2020, more so like the end of 2020, 2021, I was depressed for months. And I got depressed because I was depressed because I was beating myself up, wondering why I was damn depressed, living on the beach, living in paradise. But just because you live in paradise, your outer environment is paradise doesn't mean your inner environment is paradise. Hello? Let me say that again. Just because you may be seeing and experiencing paradise outside of you, around you, surrounding you, beautiful trees and beaches and birds and water and blue skies and sunshine, and this doesn't mean that automatically is going to shift your inner environment if you are dealing with some deep inner rooted things that you need to work through. And that's where I was. I had to work through a lot of shit, a lot of things that was coming up for me around, you know, what it meant to be valuable, what it meant to be worthy, what it meant to be productive, right? Because I was dealing with all of that. I didn't feel worthy of living this lifestyle. I didn't feel, you know, valuable in a way. I didn't feel like I was being productive enough. I didn't feel deserving enough. So I felt like I needed to be more productive so I can prove that I was worth and I was working hard. Not counting for all the hard work I had already done, but like, you know, it's almost like that. Who am I to be experiencing and living this? I need to work harder. I need to maintain it, or I'm going to lose it, you know, kind of energy. And that's what I was dealing with. But now, and I worked through that and I healed through that. And I can probably share another video about that and going into more detail. But now, what comes up often for me is like this idea of home base, and where am I going to live, like where I can plant roots for a while, where I can just be settled and not be place to place, right? Like I still want to travel, I still want to experience so many other beautiful countries, but I don't want to feel like I have to go and live there, because I don't know. It's different when you travel to a place and you're on vacation mode, right? And you're going there, you're eating, you're hanging out, music, culture, food, experiencing the beauty of that place. But it's another thing when you go in there to actually navigate how to live there and where to live and where to find this and where to go for that and what your housing is going to look like, what does transportation look like, how much it costs for these things and your daily expenses, like all of those things, take up mental and energetic space. And so it felt overwhelming for me to think about like navigating that, moving country to country. And, I will say for me, I'm still in this space where I'm learning how to let go. I'm learning how to let go of stuff, and I'm learning how to let go of people, and I'm learning how to just let go of things that just no longer serve me, but that are comfortable to me, right? Whether it be a habit, whether it be a belief, a thought, an idea, whether it be just things that I feel like I need to hold on to, physical things, or to be some clothes or some shoes or, a quantity of things or, whatever. That song, Bag Lady, Erica Badu, and she's like, pack light. No, how I go? Bag Lady. And basically it's like, pack light. And so in that song, she's just talking about, when you're traveling and you're moving through the world, pack light. Don't carry all these things with you. And so I'm still practicing and working through that because, there's things when I think about home and comfort that feel comfortable to me, that I feel like I need to have for me to feel secure, for me to feel safe and home. And that was really triggered for me recently when one of my good friends got deported. Yes, that's another thing. Let's talk about that. Making sure your visa and your papers are in order, especially here in Mexico, because they will deport your ass. They will lock your ass up in a confinement center, in a detention center. I've known 2 people, and that's only 2 of the hundreds of people that this happened to, Americans, Canadians, and other, people from other countries that this happened to. And so that really triggered a lot for me, like, oh my God, I got to get out of here. Like, I don't want to be at the mercy of this government and some shit go down. Like those are things you have to consider living in another country. And for me, like I said, it triggered that feeling of feeling unsafe. And I know historically I've had a lot of deep root chakra things that I needed to heal through. And it was meant for that experience to come up and trigger and bubble up things for me around what it means for me to be safe, to feel safe, what it means for me to feel at home, what does it mean for me to feel grounded. And the biggest thing that came up for me was about creating safety and the feeling of home within myself, right? Because that's where it starts. It can only start within you. As within, so without. That's universal law. And I know that if I don't already feel home and safe and grounded within myself, going to another place won't make me feel that, whether it's back to the U.S., whether it's to Colombia or another part of Mexico or Panama or wherever. Costa Rica, like these are all the places I've been considering moving to. And so that's what I'm working through, y'all. This is raw and this is real. Like, that's what I'm definitely working through is, really checking in and tapping in with myself and making sure that I'm doing the things that fill me up, that feed me, that make me feel home and safe and grounded within myself. And Really making sure I'm not reaching externally for those things, because that's what I've had a track record of doing. And see, the thing about it is, when you for real about your healing journey, you gonna get in there and do that shadow work. And I know my ancestors been saying that I have deeper levels of shadow work to do. And, you know, I'm learning, and through living here, being in Playa del Carmen has taught me how to embrace the shadow, how to be with all parts of myself, all of me, not just the love and light and hey and cute and da 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 and you know whatever, but all of me, even the parts of me that feel heavy and hard and painful, even the parts of me that I don't like, even the parts of me that I have been unwilling to see and sit with. You know, it really requires you to see that 3D mirror, that 360 lens of yourself, and, you know, accept the level of growth that you're being invited into. And so, you know, I was feeling frantic. I was feeling just afraid. I was feeling that kind of like, okay, I need to get out of here. I need to go here. I need to figure something out. Da, 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 da. And I really just, it was hard, but I had to cry many times. I had to just feel all of it. And I cried right before this YouTube video. And I was just like, you know what? Instead of just crying and moping, and, you know, because you need room for that too. Like, you know, you need room sometimes to just cry and mope and feel it and be upset or be afraid or be whatever, feel and be whatever is coming up for you. You know, I give myself space for that without judgment, without like trying to rush myself through it. And I can sense when that voice comes in that's like, girl, stop, or it ain't that bad, or you being dramatic, you know, that inner critic. One of my coaches, she says she calls her inner critic now her inner caregiver, and I love that. And because it shifts the dialogue, the inner dialogue that you have with yourself. And I'm learning and practicing. It's a real-time practice. My inner critic is not as harsh. Like when I say I used to beat myself up, like couldn't nobody beat me up how I beat me up. I thank God that it's not even that bad. Like it's not half as bad as it used to be. But I can sense when that residue, you know, the residue that's still there from that, and when I'm trying to, you know, talk myself out of just feeling what I need to feel through the experience. And so I allowed myself space to cry, and go through that. And then I was like, you know what? Let me just make a YouTube video. Let me just make a video, because it's both a release for me, and my prayer and my intention is that someone watches this and receives something from it. You know, one person of the billions of people on this planet, the job is done. So anyway, yeah, gave myself that room to feel that. And you know, I'm just sitting with it. Like I told myself that I was not going to rush or run in the energy of, you know, that frantic, I need to go, I need to get out, you know, I need to go out there to find what I'm looking for. But how can I really sit with me within? And that's hard to do when you're used to outsourcing, when you're used to outsourcing your love, outsourcing your safety, outsourcing your validation, outsourcing your joy, outsourcing your happiness, outsourcing your peace. When you're used to doing that outsourcing, it's hard to find it within. It feels foreign, like what? Within? No, I'm gonna go over here and do this. I'm gonna go over there and do that. I'm gonna go call this person and get this, da, 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 da. Right? It's easy to do. But that's the default mode, and that's the patterns that I'm actively working to shift and to change within myself. So I won't keep doing that. So it's not false and fleeting. Because I want the real deal. Like I want real peace, real joy, real happiness, real freedom. And that's not going to come by just always outsourcing, hopping to the next thing, going here, everywhere, thinking that another palm tree is gonna make me happy. Cause baby, like I said, you can be living in paradise, but experiencing hell. I know firsthand. You can be living in paradise and experiencing hell. So, saying that to say, I'm going to be in Playa del Carmen for I don't know how long. I am going to sign a year lease and move on Friday. I'm moving into a one bedroom, a bigger apartment, which I'm thankful for because I've been in the studio and I'm feeling claustrophobic as fuck. And granted, living in Mexico, you can live super cheap. You can live as cheap as you need to live, but you get what you pay for. Or you can live as extravagant as you like to live. So there's a good wide range of budget options that you can explore, which I do enjoy about living here. So so I've been able to live in a studio the past 6 months, and it wasn't super tight of a studio, but I'm just over it. I'm just gonna tell y'all I'm over it. I need some space. I like separation of space. I've definitely learned that about myself at this stage of my life. Like, I need separation of space. Like, I can't feel like everything is all in one place. Like, if there's dishes in the sink, I feel like the dishes are in the sink in my bedroom and my whole house is a mess. So I definitely need boundaries. Boundaries all around. Boundaries within myself, boundaries within my home, boundaries within my relationships, all the things. This is big boundary season, okay? So I'm moving to a one bedroom. Maybe I'll vlog some of that, so y'all can see. My studio is such a mess right now, because I'm moving and packing, and there's shit everywhere. But I will just try to remember to blog some of my move. And I'm getting used to this. Like I said, I've been here almost 2 years. It's videos that I've been recorded that I never put out. Lord forgive me. I'm just getting used to this, and I could use some encouragement, y'all. Like, if you come across this video and you like, yes, we want to see more, like that makes me feel good, and like, that's encouraging for me. We can all use encouragement. So I appreciate that. I appreciate you in advance for watching this. Like I said, I plan to share more. Don't know what the cadence will be, but just I guess you can put the notification bell on so you can be notified when I drop more videos about living abroad as a black woman, living in Mexico, living outside of the U.S., healing, wellness, spirituality, business, entrepreneurship, corporate life. Like, I work a corporate job right now, and I'll go into detail, like, kind of about my work, entrepreneurship, financial journey. I'm also learning how to trade right now, how to trade on the Forex market. And yeah, that's where we at. So thank you for watching again. I love you, sending you love and hugs and all the well-being that your heart desires and deserves. And I will talk to you all soon. Bye for now.